All right, and just like that, we sweep game one. Now it's game two, where I don't think we're going to see a sweep because I'm taking the Florida Panthers money line, and I'm taking Mattias Ekholm 2 or more block shots. Starting goalies presented by Bet365. It's June 6th, where Stuart Skinner, Edmonton Oilers, take on, in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, Florida Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky. Want to get in the action for the Stanley Cup playoffs? At Bet365, they got you. From game props, player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, the Stanley Cup champion, and much, much more. Whatever your bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older. All right, in the pipes for the Florida Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky. He faced 46 shots last game. He stopped 42 of them. He was very good. You know, you could argue that Arvidsson goal that kind of snuck under his arm is one he wants back, but there's a screen, there's traffic, and that are the goals you're going to score on Bobrovsky. When he can see it, he's going to save it. You know, you can find holes because he is a little bit like Gumby, right? He gets himself spread out and he kind of gets thin at times. But that being said, he's an unbelievable goalie, and he is so dialed in. He played so well in this game. You know, the way the game started, obviously, getting beat early by Draisaitl, getting to the net, finding that. That's why I think he bounces back this game, the way it went. I just can't see this team going down 0-2 in Edmonton. I know it's a bit of a stretch here because Edmonton is a powerhouse, but I like the Florida Panthers here tonight. I think Bobrovsky has one of those games where he steals it just because he looked so good last game. And that being said, the overtime winner, I don't really blame him on. I think he does a great job of honoring Connor McDavid on that play, and he gets across. And Draisaitl, again, under the low glove, but from there, that's a one-timer from the ladies' tee. So if he hits a spot, it's ending up in the back of the net. I think he's going to have to deal with more traffic, right? Guys are going to try to get to the net, try to make it hard on him at home. I think Evander Kane is going to have an impact tonight in getting to the cage. I know Corey Perry has done a great job of that throughout this playoffs. But Bobrovsky's going to be a calming factor here tonight, I think, early in this game. I look for Florida to have a better chance, just to generate offense early in this game, where I think last game they lucked out with the Bennett goal where he falls into Skinner and then capitalize on that power play. But tonight, I think it'll be about them possessing the puck. A lot of those high flips they're trying to use to get into the neutral zone to possess it. I think they see that they make some good adjustments, and Paul Maurice and his staff are great at making adjustments. But one adjustment that never needs to be made on this team is Bobrovsky. He just always seems to get better the more he faces the team. So I look for him to be a difference maker tonight. Now, in the other end, for the Edmonton Oilers, Stuart Skinner, that was a big game for him. After the 2 goals, obviously we just chatted about how it went down. I thought he might be a little more porous, and then he gives up the goal to Bennett early in the period. So I just thought from then on he was rock solid, and even the views of him during the game where you could see his eyes and you could see he was feeling the music and he had that confidence going, which was really great. And I loved his talk after the game where, they had the Stanley Cup on the ice, in the pregame ceremony, and they introduced everybody. And he talked about last year where, he was a little bit googly-eyed and, excited the Stanley Cup was there. And I think he's over that now, and he understands that the task that is in that hand. But that being said, I always thought this series was going to go the distance. It's going to be a tough battle, and I look for tonight for it to be harder on him. I think they're going to do a better job of getting to the cage and making it harder. I thought even at times, he left a few rebounds. He looked a little boxy. He chases his post and he's late on things. But that being said, I think they're going to defend well for him and do a good job. This is a hard one to take. That's why I took Mattias Ekholm on the block shots, because I think that Florida's going to generate more chances, and I think Ekholm's going to have to play a lot of minutes. This is his 3rd game now. He had played a lot of minutes last game. It looks like he's healthy and ready to go, and I look for Florida to put more pucks to the cage to create chaos and create some more rebounds. So it should be a big challenge tonight here for Stuart Skinner. That being said, it's really hard to pick a winner here, but I love this. This is a great time of year. It's going to be a great game too, and it's Friday night. Let's enjoy this one. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Those are the starting goalies for tonight's Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm Carter Hutton. I'll be back for Game 3 with another set of picks. Until then, keep it locked on Daily Faceoff.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.